Hi dear friends, welcome to another episode of Flip Pop. Today I'll be refinishing my Entryway piece. I had already done it a couple of years ago, where I opted for a grey chalk paint and wooden accents. I'll leave a link to the original video in the description below. Although I loved the piece then, the top has always been ugly and I like it to be real wood. And I got tired of the grey. In my last post, most people voted for this piece, so come with me to give it a fresh look. I'll start by creating the new top. I have plenty of pine, so I'll be using it to give it a fresh new look. As always, I'll be attaching the top with wood glue and pocket screws. I'll clamp everything and I'll let it dry overnight. Here, I'm measuring a piece of wood to create a sort of backsplash. I usually leave my keys on top of this piece, and everything seems to fall to the back of it. I didn't notice it then, but I cut a little on the top of that foldable table. Anyway, it works just fine. After sanding everything with 120 grit, I cleaned the surface so as to raise the grain. So when I sand it with 180 grit, I can achieve a really smooth surface before staining it. Here you see me sanding the routing profile by hand. My camera only works plugged in, and even then it doesn't record sometimes, like when I routed the top, or when I applied wood filler. I'll apply the same water-based and oil-based stain combo as always. I love how dark and warm the wood becomes after this process. I start with water-based walnut extract. I apply generously, giving time for the wood to absorb the tone, and then I wipe off the excess with paper towel. I let it dry overnight before applying the oil-based stain. Now it is time to tackle the piece. I use some baskets to store mindless things and tools and products for my makeovers. The top was held in place with glue and dowels, but it was fairly easy to remove it. I'm going to be painting the piece in my favorite color, which is blue, so I'll remove the doors. I'll tape all the edges so as to keep the wood trim intact. And of course, my adorable Milo, always next to me, supervising and just making me happy by being next to me. Now that I'm doing this, I'll cover the extra hinge holes with Bondo. I remember that it was a concern for some of you in the original video. These were 4 doors originally that I transformed into 2. I'll scuff sand the interior with 180 grit for my new paint to adhere well to the surface. This is dark blue by Sherwin-Williams. Well, it doesn't look quite dark. It looks really bright. I'll wait for it to dry to see if it darkens a bit. I like Sherwin-Williams paints, but I haven't been very lucky with blue hues. You know, they say trust the process, but some other people say follow your instincts. This time my instincts were screaming to mix some black into the paint, but I continued painting. Foreshadowing, I won't like it. The next day I started applying the oil-based stain. I love that the wood turns a bit red and velvety. After wiping off the excess, I'll leave the top to dry outside overnight. The following day, it was time for poly. I'll be using water-based polyurethane satin finish, my favorite. By the way, if you're enjoying this makeover so far, I'd be so grateful if you gave this video a thumbs up and subscribed to my channel. It really helps me keep creating these flips for you. And if you'd like to support my work a little extra, you'll find my Buy Me a Coffee and wish lists below. Every bit of support, even just you being here watching, means so much to me. Thank you. Well, the color was not at all what I expected, so I decided to add a little black. Oops, that was too much, I guess. I added more blue, but it looks too dark anyway. Now, this is super dark. I'll give it a coat and then add more blue to the mix. While it dries, I'll replace the wooden dowels that are missing. And I'll remove the feet. I want them gold. I'll get rid of the felt and then I'll scuff sand them. I'll give them a couple of coats of gold. This is the final hue. Definitely more navy and more to my liking. I leveled all the wooden dowels before trying to attach the new top. I marked, then I drilled holes for the new dowels. I didn't film when I glued and clamped the top, and when I went through the top with my drill, I had to cover the hole with a dowel. So I'll have to refinish the top again. I first sand with 120. Then I'll smooth everything with 180 grit. Then water-based and oil-based stain. And then water-based poly. Finally, it is time to attach the backsplash. My beautiful supervisor. I'll add a coat of poly to the interior surfaces. Do you remember my old entryway piece? Here it is now. I think the dark blue against that wooden top is fantastic. It matches its neighboring piece quite a lot. I made a hole in there to attach the electric lock Wi-Fi module for my front door that always ended on the floor behind the piece. Now my decor and my keys. And of course my bar supplies. I love the way it ended and it feels like a new piece. I hope you liked today's flip. I send an enormous hug to my members. Without your support, I wouldn't be here. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.